and now it's being recorded. So this is something that we just want everyone to realize is happening. All your comments are being transcribed, and please use the same levels of civility and respectful etiquette that we afford each other in our in-person meetings. So this is all, again, recorded, and your chat function is also recorded. So just heads up.
And that, just to clarify, the chat function includes private chats to other people. So it's not just chats to Crystal or chats to everyone. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah, just be aware. But that's my welcome introduction. I think I'm passing it off to Ryan. Hannah, can you unmute, or I'll mute Ryan?
I was having technical difficulties. I apologize. Yeah, I want to welcome everybody to our first Zoom meeting. I want to thank everybody for getting back to our surveys and allowing us the opportunity to continue this very important work that we're all involved with. You know, trying to make substantive changes in the South Central Fresno community and working together. It's very exciting. We were fortunate to have had a successful first meeting in our Stockton, and so definitely got a sense that we can do this, and it will be productive, and looking forward to everybody's participation and feedback, and wanting to know how we can continue to improve this process to make sure that we are getting the community engagement that's so important to the process. So thanks again to everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. And this is, again, a dry run practice. So at any point, if anything's not working and you need some help, you're welcome to reach out to Hannah in the comment box. You can chat with her just directly. If you go to chat, as I say chat, at the bottom of your screen, there should be kind of a little dialogue box with chat. You can reach out to Hannah and she'll help you. We're all quickly learning how to use Zoom more. Oh, I've seen a chat come in. Hannah's testing it. So everyone should see that pop up there at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and let's see, quickly go over, okay, a few Zoom etiquette, just standard operating procedures that I'd like us to consider as we move forward. And if anyone has any problems with any of these, please let's just chat about it, because I don't want to be a Zoom dictator over here, but we're trying to figure out a way that we can still have very effective meetings while everyone still gets to participate. So I'm just going to run down this list and we're going to practice some stuff.
Crystal, can I interrupt you for just 1 second?
Sure.
Can we confirm that Spanish speakers can hear Reina before we start with Zoom procedures?
That's an excellent point. So Reina's actually interpreting through the conference call right now. Reina, I'm going to unmute you.
Hi. Yes, we do have Lilia on the phone. So I think it would be really nice if we have a message on the screen, just reminding the community to dial the Spanish number if possible. I think that would be a great idea.
Perfect.
So that means that people who will be joining are wanting to hear this in Spanish. The instructions is for them to join through the computer, but actually to call in to a specific designated line.
So for tonight, Naimeen, we were going to do it this way through the conference line. But moving forward, there is a way for us to do the language interpretation through Zoom itself. We can set up a separate channel for the people who are opting to hear it in Spanish. And then for them, it reduces the main channel to a much lower level. So they wouldn't hear Jessica speak at the same volume as they would hear Reina speak. So
that's what I understood, Heather, and I thought we were doing it even today, so sorry for the confusion.
Actually, Naomi, we're going to try it as a part of what we're doing tonight. We've been working on it all week, and Marty's here, and we're going to get through a couple of the housekeeping things and then actually try and make it work. We just weren't 100% sure, and we didn't want to exclude you. So we want to make sure we had a hard line to you guys and then keep practicing.
Yeah, so I mean, something we can do at the end of the meeting for those who want to help us practice this is you stick around, and we can do that right at the end and just move people into that separate channel and make sure that that works for folks. So that's an excellent point. So, okay. So as a general rule, we're going to ask everybody to please use either the audio on your phone or on your computer, but not both, to reduce the potential feedback echo. I already mentioned this, but I'll just note that the meeting is being recorded. So it's going to be posted up on the Fresno's community part of the website. And so, you know, just so you know, it's very public record. You can make sure you know how to mute and unmute yourself. If you click on your picture, a little box will appear and you can unmute yourself that way. Or if you are using the audio on your phone, you can unmute yourself that way as well. Aha, I see how they're sending me the teleconference information. So this is great. So we're illustrating, Heather just sent me a Zoom chat, which allows me to plop it in here. So we can really use this Zoom chat box as a way to communicate to each other as well. As a general rule, we are going to ask that folks just stay on mute unless you are speaking or about to speak, just to reduce the potential back and forth. And I apologize in advance because at some point, one of my children will probably yell something and you will hear it, so sorry. But I will also mute myself when I'm not speaking. And we just understand. I mean, everyone's doing this a lot of us are doing this from our homes, and so it's just going to be what it is. So for tonight, Reina is doing the Spanish translation via the conference line, but again, to Naomi's point, we are going to try to work through the kinks. We think we got it with the translation within Zoom itself, so everybody is all together. So we'll keep practicing that, and hopefully that's the way we'll do it in May. Okay, so at the bottom of your screen, you should have that chat box. And in the chat box, we're going to ask folks if you have like a question or a request or a comment that you would want to make, but it isn't super timely to what's being stated right now. You can send that to everyone or privately to one individual or whomever, just to get that captured as a way to share your thoughts so you don't forget them, but not necessarily ask a question. The next thing we're going to do with raise your hand, and we're going to have everybody practice this so we make sure everybody knows where this is. There's a little blue hand that you can raise at the bottom. We're going to ask folks to go ahead and raise their hands so we can see that. And then if you're looking at the participants, like Mari put her hand up, Reina put her hand up, Jessica's hand is up. You see the hand. So Anthony, not the clap. That's a good illustration. Not the clap that Anthony has. That one we're going to use, it's more of a like an emotion, a reaction. But the raise your hand, the blue hand, it's like the little blue hand that looks like this. We're going to use that feature to alert the speaker that you have a question. So we don't have to keep like interrupting each other. And then the host, me, and the co-host, Hannah, will see that, and we'll be able to manage that queue of folks and say like, okay, I see 3 hands up, and I'm going to go to, you know, Jamie, Jessica, and Ed, or whatever. And then when, yeah.
Not all the people can find where to click to raise their hand. So folks, you're gonna go to participants.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will see on the right hand side the blue hand. And those of you who are on the phone, you're gonna click, and correct me if I'm wrong, Crystal, you're gonna click *9.
Yeah, thank you.
Something interesting that I'm noticing, Crystal, is that while you're sharing your screen, it does look a little different on that participant side.
It does.
And I
And it
actually
does for
can't
me.
find the hand right now.
So look for your view. Like if for some reason, because when I do share a screen, it shoves the videos to the side. Make sure you still have your view set so you can see the little like control panel. It might pop to the top of your screen. But I'm going to scroll through and see, do we have all the hands? I go to participants.
Maybe if you stop sharing your screen for a second, it'll be like kind of the normalized view for a moment. It might make it easier for the participant list to show.
Sure. Did that help for folks? Do you see participants either in the toolbox at the bottom or the top or wherever it's a bunch? And if you click in, there should be a way. At the bottom, you have little buttons. See a lot of blue hands. Anybody having a hard time? Okay. While we're in the hand function, you'll notice under participants, there's also these yes, no buttons here. There's a green yes check and a red no. So we're obviously not necessarily doing this every meeting, but during meetings, if we are going to take an official vote, we're thinking we'll likely do it with these yes, no buttons. If you guys want to click and practice, like what do we use the other day? Do you like chocolate ice cream? Yes or no? And then we would have a record because again, everything's being recorded and transcribed. And then the host can see, and can you guys see as well, the yes, no's, or is it just me? You guys can all see it? Awesome. So there's a record of like who's liking chocolate ice cream, pulling ahead.
And it tallies as well.
It does, which should make it faster than me trying to quickly.
Where does it tally? Where do you see the tally?
Right above the
right up
little check mark.
the number.
Sorry, Crystal.
No, do you see that, Naomi? No? Okay. Well, that's interesting. We can look into why it's showing up for some but not others.
Maybe if you're kind of a part of the administrator account, maybe? I don't know because I don't see it. I just see the little thing unless others can see the
Yeah, I can't see it either. Just
yeah,
Okay.
it must be a host ability.
A power. That's a power. So yeah, again, I think this whole practice comes with a disclaimer that everybody's learning how to use this, and every day we learn a new something about Zoom. So we will definitely, I will verbally say, so, in the vote of do you like chocolate ice cream, yes or no, there are 12 yeses, 7 no's, so chocolate clearly wins. And then in the meeting highlights or minutes, we would reflect like whatever the actual vote is there, what the decision is. And then if you wanted to watch the recording later, I'm assuming in the transcript, there'll be a way to show that. But yeah, I don't know if we're gonna vote a lot unless this really continues, this shelter in place continues for a while, but it's here as a feature and we'll use it when we need to. We'll make sure everyone knows what that is. Okay, I'm gonna go back to share my screen so you see the little list for us to talk through. Hopefully that still works for folks. Okay, so we did raise your hand. And again, if you're on the phone and you want to raise your hand, clicking *9 raises your hand. So in that. So reactions. So there should be a way that you have in your control panel to see nonverbal ways to show, yes, Heather's showing right now, nonverbal ways to communicate something. So there's thumbs up and there's an applause and there's like a coffee cup if you need to go take a break. There's different ways that you can.
Participants only get the hand clap and the thumbs up. The coffee cup is back with the other like voting yes, no.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, Jamie. It's so weird. My settings are completely different than yours as the host. So thank you for that reminder. What you guys actually see is what I should say. That's great. So yeah. And the thing with these reactions is you'll put up your thumbs up like Jessica just did, and it'll stay for a few seconds and then it'll just go away on its own, which is different than the blue hand. The blue hand will stay up until the host lowers the blue hand after you've asked your question. So that's why we really prefer it if you use the blue hand for a question, because we don't want to lose that question mistakenly by using the clap function. So any questions about this so far? Okay. I am going to stop sharing my screen again, so we have all the controls in front of everybody. We're going to do the moving into the group, like the breakout rooms. So before we do this, we may not do this every meeting, but if we have full participation on these Zoom meetings, and right now we have 32 people logged in, it's a lot of people to manage in a dialogue, and I'd really like these meetings to retain some elements of dialogue and deliberation and shared ideas. So it's not just a series of presentations that you have to watch for 2 hours, because that could be very dry. So when we design these meetings in the agenda, and we'll definitely be looking to our community co-hosts to help us do this, think of ways that we could have interactive portions of the meeting. So the way we're going to try to do it with Zoom is to move everybody into breakout rooms. And so we can do this a couple different ways. I can do it where it just automatically assigns people based on how many people I want to put in each group, or I can choose to have a certain number of people in, or like certain people in certain groups. So for tonight, I just want to give everybody a flavor of what that feels like. I'm going to move you into a breakout room. I'll just do it randomly tonight, and leave you there for like, say, 2 minutes. And you can share with each other about how you feel this is going, some of the things you love about virtual meetings, things you're nervous about virtual meetings, anything you want to share. And then I'll move you back into the main line. If for any reason you don't like being in the breakout group, you can move yourself back into the main channel. So I'm going
Real quick,
to,
Crystal,
please, Heather.
could we address quickly again for the last few folks that joined on the naming convention on the, so we know who we're in the rooms with?
Yeah. So if you can please hover over your name under the participants. So when you click on participants, you see the list of everybody, or over your video picture. There's a way you can click into that through the more button, or just like clicking in, and you can rename yourself. We would ask that you,
sorry.
Yeah, rename yourself whatever your actual name is. I know sometimes when you log in, it's just like your first initial and your last name, but just to be kind to each other, and especially since not everybody is using their video function, always please, as a general rule for these meetings, have your actual name. And if you have an affiliation that you want to share, Valley Air District or CARB or ILG or whatnot, you're welcome to put that as well too, just so we all know kind of what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to move you into 7 different breakout rooms. There should be 4 to 5 participants per room. And I'm going to open all the rooms. I hope you enjoy yourself. So for the people who are still on, I see Trish, Erica, and Lilia. Can you guys hear me? I'm gonna unmute you. How am I gonna unmute you? Okay. This is interesting. Okay, so I can move people into breakouts. You guys, you got the breakout pop-up, but you didn't move. So if you don't move the breakout, you can be with me in the main channel.
Yeah, correct? You have the option, Crystal. Yeah, you have the option to not join now, or you can join later. And so I just opted to not join. I was going to join later, but that might be a good thing to note for the future when you don't, when people ever don't get assigned. Lilia,
If they don't, yeah.
Lilia is still muted, I think.
Oh, yeah, let me unmute you. Lilia, are you muted on your end? Not letting me unmute you. Ah, there you go. Okay. So
She's still muted.
I know. Let's see. This. I don't know why it's not letting me unmute you. Lilia, you're still muted. You want to unmute yourself on your end?
Okay.
On the far left. Oh.
There you go.
Está bien. Ok. Buenas tardes a todos. Soy Lilia Becerril. Estoy teniendo un poquito de problemas con el audio de ustedes. Reina, desafortunadamente no alcanza a escuchar muy bien y yo tampoco. Pero de igual manera aquí estoy presente para poder seguir con el apoyo mutuo para hacia nuestra comunidad y sobre todo nuestro medio ambiente.
She's having a hard time hearing.
Okay. And I forgot, I should have put Lily in with Reina and forced it. And we'll have to figure out how to do that. Well, it's okay. I'm going to bring everyone back now.
In the future, maybe if we can create rooms for Spanish translation and that breakout group all gets in that one room.
Yeah.
I loved it. I felt like I was traveling in space, cyberspace.
All right. I'm so glad. Let's get everybody back. But yeah, I'd love to hear how that felt. And to the degree that we want to use these in our meetings, please let me know. So we got one Naomi hands up. You liked it? Any other thoughts? How did that feel, you guys?
Yes, so for Spanish speakers, it was yeah, unless we're all in one conference room where I can translate and be able to communicate, yeah, so we would have to make sure that we are identifying who is Spanish speaking so that we can put them all together in a conference room. But I was also mentioning that I actually, on a personal note, I think that it's really good for the Spanish speakers to be able to see your face expressions instead of having them in a separate group. So les estaba compartiendo, Lilia, que no funcionó porque no se podía traducir para los que hablan español y simultáneamente, y que también siento personalmente que se me hace una buena idea que ellos puedan estar, que ustedes puedan estar mirando las expresiones de ellos cuando ellos están hablando.
Yeah, Rena, thank you so much for that reminder. I think that's great. I think we clearly won't use the random group.
Right.
We'll just assign. For sure. That's a great observation. Moving forward. Okay. All right.
My only, can I add something? I know it's going to be a little bit more tricky for the time being, but you know, I remember that in the very first meeting where that decision was made by design, and this is in the in-person meeting, where all the Spanish speakers were assigned in a group, they didn't feel too comfortable because they felt like isolated, like, you know, like, oh, you're apart, and we're not really fully engaging in the discussion. So I think that would be my only hesitation of having a group that is just by language. Because what if some of the Spanish speakers, I would imagine this breakout session idea working like, you know, like our last meeting, we divided by topic that you were interested. Like I went to the group that discussed the school buses for the, you know, the school districts. Mm-hmm. So, but what if instead of me deciding by topic of interest, I need to decide by language? I'm defaulted to one, you know what I mean? So I think that that would be the limitation of that. I think that in the past, what has worked is that there's, you know, there's more than one interpreter, so that, you know, if the Spanish speakers end up in two different breakout rooms, they can still, you know, be following the discussion. So food for thought.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I think the more translators we have, the easier it is to do that. You know, obviously we don't want to leave anyone out, and we also don't want to segregate anybody or any group of people. So,
Crystal, can I add that I did call all of the Spanish speakers on our group for the Fresno group, and I encouraged them to join the live video, the actual Zoom call right now, and then just to call in the teleconference line. So we did encourage them to come on to actually see the expressions, you know, like Reina just mentioned or Lilia just mentioned. We want them to be able to see that, but because we were having that, you know, kind of learning difficulties, then we were, you know, encouraging them to call in as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing. Marley, you want to share your chat? It says, I tuned into another community meeting yesterday that used a translation function within Zoom. Perhaps you can look into that function. Yeah. So we're going to practice that at the end of this meeting. There is a way that the host can identify an interpreter based on kind of the meeting attended, and then it creates a second channel in the meeting. And so it does require, I think, you to be, well, we were thinking of it this way. We were thinking we would do it that way, where we have the interpreter in one channel, and as the interpreter is interpreting and, you know, repeating what I'm saying in Spanish, the main channel doesn't hear that person, but all of the participants get to select whether they want the English or the Spanish version. And when you select Spanish, the interpreter volume is higher than like the speaker in the main channel. And then the only wrinkle in that we still want to work through, and Naimeen, we definitely will, you know, benefit from your wisdom on this, is we were thinking, so if a person who is a Spanish language speaker asks a question, that they would then, you know, raise their hands, we'd call on them, they'd ask their question. But if the interpreter is in this separate channel, the separate audio channel, the folks in the main channel don't hear it. So we were thinking of perhaps having that interpreter type out the question then in English in the chat box. So like Rena would hear Naimeen's question, for example. Yeah. So and then there would be kind of an interpreted chat question. The chat box would have the interpreted question. They would interpret the Spanish into the English, and then whoever was doing that presentation, say it was Ryan, then Ryan would be able to read that question in the chat box, and then he could, in English, verbally respond to the question, and then Reina or whoever else is providing interpretation could then translate his answer. It's not a perfect system, and we definitely need to keep practicing it, but I think that's perhaps where we're trending. Any thoughts? We'll practice it at the end of this meeting.
And Crystal, it seems like we're practicing that right now, whereas Spanish-speaking participants are typing the question. So we'll definitely need to pause and let interpreter to type the answer, because I don't think she can type and interpret at the same time. It's difficult.
It is difficult.
Yeah, it would be a delayed response is what it would be, because I'd be typing like a turtle in between trying to capture, unless I'm given, I think the best way would be, okay, there's a, like if I see that, well, which also like brings my focus, I have to be focusing at what you're saying and not really looking at you. Estoy, hola Lilia, estoy dejándoles saber porque ahorita entró una comentario en el chateo y están diciendo sería bueno traducirlo, ¿verdad? Pero les digo, sería ocuparía como un momento tal vez de espera para poder traducir porque no es tan fácil hablar y escribir a la misma vez. Yeah.
I just responded to her.
Awesome. Okay. And I just, again, appreciate everybody's flexibility and understanding so much. I know this is, you know, I'll just say for myself, it's new to do this level of interaction in multiple languages on Zoom. So I really appreciate everyone's shared learning. And also, if you have figured something out, please speak up if you have, you know, any tips.
I think we're going to be learning together, and you know, for some of us that are bilingual, I don't mind helping typing or doing other things. I mean, the thing is that we are all working together, so I don't mind.
Great, thank you, Naimeen, and thanks everyone. I know it's a lot. It's a different platform, and you know, sometimes these meetings can be hard in person, and this just adds another layer. But, you know, I think with the survey that went out, what we heard from everybody on the steering committee was, you know, we still want to move forward. We still want to make progress. And in this COVID time, this is, I think, our best option. So thanks again, really thanks again for your sticking in there with us. Okay. Okay, there's a few more things I just want to also point out. We are streaming live on Facebook right now. So we always Facebook live stream at our regular meetings. It's like a phone that's set up somewhere on a tripod. We are also doing it right now, which might make for a funny Facebook feed. There's a bunch of us. But we were considering this as one way we could potentially allow outside members of the public who aren't able to join the Zoom meeting to still watch. I mean, right now it's not super exciting because that's just chatting. But in May, we plan to have like a real agenda with real topics. So they would be able to watch the meeting and then put in questions, like you would a comment in a Facebook post. And then we will have someone from the Air District, I think it's Anthony, or Heather potentially, who's won that super fun task, will be monitoring that and making sure that if there are public questions or comments that interspersed in our agenda, we'll pause and check in with him. But there's a note that
for example, Jonathan Pruitt said hello to you.
Hello, Jonathan. Yes, we practiced this the other day with Stockton, and we were trying to do it with American Sign Language interpretation at the same time. So it was a different complexity, but we're learning. I feel like every week we learn something new. Yeah, so that is an option, I think. So just as a heads up that that's there, and that we will keep these meetings open. The members of the general public are still allowed, obviously, to comment and participate and learn. We don't want to exclude anyone, although we do understand that the technology is such that certain people may have a hard time. But we're hoping to get this out during several different venues, and also at the end of these meetings, that we'll take the recording and the transcript or the chat record, and we'll post it up on the website too. So if you can't see it then, you'll be able to see it later. So those are things to note. You can stop and start your own video at any time. I do want to note that we're going to go less than the 2 hours tonight because we're not doing a full agenda, but Naomi's just and Erica and there's a couple people who don't have their video on. If your computer's running a little slower or the connection's a little choppy, if you shut your video down, sometimes it can allow things to speed up again. Or if you use your audio from your phone rather than the audio through your computer, that also might make it go faster. I mean, and if you have tech issues during the meeting, you can reach out to Hannah through the chat box or call any one of us after the meeting, and we'll work through things with you. Just kind of let us know as we practice all of this. but you're welcome. It's, you know, it'll be a 2-hour meeting. So like anything else, if you need to take a break or you need to turn off your video for whatever reason, please feel free. Okay, so this was important in our staff meeting because the member that needed the sign language interpretation needed to always be able to see the person who is providing sign language interpretation. So there's a way, if that comes up where you're like, I really want to keep seeing such and such, you can hover on a person's picture and you can pin them. And when you pin that video, it should keep that person, the view of that person up high. Because you'll notice the people who do more of the talking kind of stay at the higher, depending on how your view is set. You'll see the people, the frequent talkers more than the folks that are talking less. And the folks that don't have their video turned on often are filtered towards the bottom, depending on how your view is set up. But just know that that's another trick. Anytime you want to know who's on the meeting still, again, the participant list has everybody there. And that, sharing your screen, my last point, sharing your screen. I'm going to share a screen. I will pass that privilege on to whomever is going to lead a portion of the presentation. We do have this currently set up where anybody can share their screen right now, but we ask that it's a privilege that we don't abuse. So don't try to grab the screen share for no reason. If it's on accident, obviously that's fine. We're all learning. But it is the controls. I haven't initiated strong controls on that. So it's literally right now anybody can share their screen. So just, again, heads up that that's a function and a button. It's at the bottom of your control panel. It just has a rectangle with an arrow that says share screen. And that lets everybody see everything that's on your desktop. So that's what I got for the etiquette rules. Is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about before we move on to the next part? Okay. Jess, I'm going to pass it to you then.
I'll take that as my cue. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. Just again, seeing that there's so many people logged in just for the practice, I think that really bodes well for our sort of more substantive meeting that we're going to have here in a couple of weeks. And I just really appreciate all of the support and the help that you've each had in getting other people connected to this. So let us know, give us a lot of feedback today or after today. And I'll kind of get to a little bit more about participation here in a second. This is going to be super quick. I just feel like because of the situation we're in, there is certainly going to be, I think, more reliance on the district's online resources where available. And then of course, anything we can do to support those who can't access these resources, we will certainly send things out. But I really wanted, now that we can't interact in person, I think there is a lot of opportunity for us to provide a lot of resources and sort of like go-tos and videos even to keep everyone engaged and to help give you guys sort of the tools to engage more residents as we move forward in this process. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things we've done to the website that we haven't really talked about with you guys yet. And then a couple of things maybe that we're planning on doing moving forward, and we will of course update you when those things actually come to fruition. First thing I want to share is that we did this a long time ago, and I don't know that I'm pretty sure we haven't officially shared it with the community, and I was just talking with Heather about this today, but right now I'm on the main community.valleyair.org website, which is kind of where there's a deeper link that takes you to the agenda every time. That's the link that Heather sends out. And at the bottom of the agenda, it always has this link. This is the go-to for everything 617. I'll get to the Fresno specific section in a second. But one thing I wanted to share that I thought some of the team did a really good job on is we created a community air monitoring program video that is an in-depth little look at some of the air monitoring we've put up already around Fresno and Shafter, and we have it both in English and in Spanish. And we just wanted to point you to that and a couple of other sort of air monitoring things just on this page alone. So not only can you see the video, which is just an explanation of a lot of the stuff we've verbally told you, but in much prettier format than just seeing us show slides. But you can also scroll down here, and this is where we've shown you this before, but this is a good way to get to it. You can click on the monitoring page here, South Central Fresno, and then see all of the air monitoring data from the different sites. So one thing I'll tell you right now is in the next couple of weeks, we've been working on it really hard. You won't have to just click on names of sites and understand where or what that even means. But we are working on a mapped version of this, and this will be sort of an update you'll hear next week. So the rest of the committee will hear this, not just you guys. But we're working on a mapped version of this where you can actually click physically on where those sites are. And so you can kind of see them spatially, so you don't have to know where Roosevelt is or know what bitwise even means. So those are just some updates, and I wanted to point you to them here live while we kind of chat about the website. Another thing we have, which we are working on Spanish translation of, but we just put them out this week, are some quick little tools on understanding ozone, PM, and sources of pollution. Now, obviously we've been working together for over a year, so I know that this group is very acutely aware, and you guys are very, very knowledgeable and educated on all of the sources of pollution. And, you know, we've worked really hard with the committee on that. But you know, our job isn't done in engaging the community on all of these things. And so one of the things, and I mean such a great thing earlier, that we're all in this together. And I think that includes keeping all of these people that are in this meeting right now working to engage everyone else that isn't in this meeting or isn't on the CSC. So this is just another great tool, again, Spanish soon to come for these videos, on engaging people, on just learning the basics before they kind of go, you know, why are we monitoring for this sort of thing, or what should really be the sources that we're concerned about. So I just wanted to point you to those. And then really quickly, one more thing that sort of gets at that participation thing is if you go all the way back, this is the community, you know, the front page, you click on South Central Fresno. This has everything. If you haven't been here in a while, it has the CERT kind of broken down in the different appendices. It has all those maps we talked about a long time ago, the boundary, all the inventory information. What I want to point you to right now is we've updated the list of steering committee members based on all of that feedback we got about recommitting or who kind of had the capacity to continue to work with us. So this is that updated list as of this month. As you can see, and we've talked about this a little bit, you know, we still have a good amount of residents, but we certainly need more. And so this is sort of another plug. We've plugged it, I think, the past couple of meetings for, I know it's a weird time, but maybe in this remote sense, it might be easier for some people to meet now because they don't have to travel. This is a great time to continue to see who wants to be involved, that lives in the boundary, and let them know about this process and let us know about them and how they can get involved. So I just wanted to kind of point those out to you and let you know that not only are we going to update that monitoring thing to make it just so much easier to follow, but pretty soon here we're going to have a way for everyone to just in a quick way track all of the strategies that we're working on and just sort of know when we've talked about them, what the next steps are. So that way too, if you can't make it to a meeting or you want to know where to go back in the archives to watch which video we talked about a specific strategy, that'll all be in that list. So just wanted to take this opportunity with you guys now to share that. And if you have any questions, let me know.
So right now the plan is just to translate the videos about the specific pollutants. What about all, I mean, all that information is great. My only concern again is, you know, accessibility to non-English speakers. So I don't know what are the plans there.
Everything else will also have a Spanish translation as well. So I was specifically talking about the videos, but you're right. Everything that I just mentioned, we will have a Spanish version of. Thanks, Naomi.
Thanks, Jess. Okay. Any other questions about what Jessica just shared, or any other thoughts or reactions to Zoom, this new world? Okay. Not hearing any and not seeing any hands pop up. I'm going to do some quick wrap up next steps, And then if you want to stay on the Zoom meeting to practice the Spanish interpretation separate channel, then you're welcome to. So again, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you everybody for your continued patience and passion and really making this a priority. It's just really awesome to see. The next meeting is going to be a real 617 meeting. So May 13th, be on the lookout. You'll get an agenda, which will have a Zoom link. It'll be a Zoom call just like the one we just did, just a little bit longer. It'll probably be the full 2-hour meeting. So look for that. Any other final thoughts, Ryan, or do you want to to anyone else? No? Carb, do you guys want to say anything? A couple of you on here.
No, I think we're good. I hope this works out, and I appreciate the district and all this community steering committee members working really well together on this. It's been impressive to see this come together relatively quickly.
Thanks, Brian.
One thing.
And I promise it won't be perfect. Please, Brian.
Yeah, one thing we discussed at maybe the last in the Stockton meeting was Jamie had brought it up with RSVPing, and so wanting to have enough resources for translation, understanding who's going to be participating in the meetings would definitely help us out. So if we do have, we definitely want to do some of the smaller breakouts, and we want those to be super productive and meaningful to everybody on the committee. So maybe we look to institute some type of RSVP. So.
Yeah, that would be great, especially, I mean, to Ryan's point, especially if you need the language translation, just so, I know we're going to practice this, but I really want to try to figure out the best way to structure the meeting so everybody gets to fully participate to the degree that they can. So thanks for that reminder. So I think to that point, Heather may be sending you the regular notification and also Outlook invite, right, so you can accept it. So we'll use that to track RSVPs, correct?
And then you don't have to calendar it yourself. You just add it. And if you accept it, then it goes to your calendar and I see it. Yay.
Yay.
Well, I don't want to give extra work to anyone, but just remember that some residents do not get the main way that they get their communication is not through email, so they might need a phone call as a reminder and a way for them to do the RSVP.
No problem, I mean, we got it. We got that list too.
That's a great. Perfect. Okay. I'm not seeing other questions. So have a wonderful night.
Crystal, I just have a question.
I feel a little, I'm sorry, I feel a little embarrassed, but Lilia said thank you very much for listening to our concern about translation and for lending us the opportunity to work with Reina. We feel happy with her service. So I feel a little weird, but thank you all.
Glad to hear it, Lilia.
No te dé pena, Reina, es la verdad. Nos sentimos afortunados el día de hoy por tener esta interpretación. Para nosotros es fundamental tener algo que nos interprete claramente las palabras y conforme a lo que estamos hablando y no salirnos del tema. Así es que gracias, Reina, gracias al equipo por prestarnos el día de hoy a esta persona formidable que de verdad no se queda callada. Ella, conforme ustedes hablan, ella también habla. Entonces es algo que no deja perder nada de parte de ustedes y nada de parte de nosotros. Gracias.
Gracias. And she said, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be able to have Reina on board. We feel that with her interpretation, we don't lose any essence of the meeting and everything that as you are speaking, she is translating. So we definitely appreciate it.
Glad to hear it.
Otra de las cosas que quisiera aclarar ahorita, desafortunadamente tenemos un clima muy bonito, el aire está muy limpio, no estamos contaminados, pero no podemos salir a caminar. Así es que de todas maneras mantengámonos en casa y cuidémonos, que pronto saldremos de esta pandemia.
Another thing that I want to make sure we are all clear on is that even though, yes, we do have a cleaner weather and even though it may look nice outside, we still have to make sure we stay indoors and stay safe. We know that it has been difficult with this pandemic.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay, so you're welcome to continue with your private life or stay on and practice the language interpretation side channel with us.
Yes.
We look forward to seeing you guys remotely, digitally, May 13th. Don't forget to RSVP, or Heather will track you down.
Yes.
So
myself
so
or
much.
myself.
And if you have any thoughts on how to improve this meeting, or concerns or suggestions, please feel free to reach out to anybody afterwards via email or by phone. So thank you so much. Have
Thanks,
a great
everyone.
night.
I have a last question.
Oh,
Go for it.
Are you guys gonna, for the food portion, are you guys gonna send us like door delivery, or what will be the system? Where do I place my order?
It didn't show up? It didn't show up, Naomi? You didn't get food?
Believe it or not, it was discussed.
they don't deliver to tropical paradises, 90.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think at some point when we hit milestones, we can figure out a way to celebrate remotely as well. So thanks for your patience so much. I really appreciate your dedication to this, to everyone. So have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Cool.
Thanks.
Oh, good. Not everyone's leaving. I hope.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Estela, si me puede escuchar, si se puede quedar en la línea, por favor. Igualmente con Lilia, por lo menos.
Thank you, Mari.
No problem.
Believe it or not, I took 4 years of Spanish, and it's terrible.
So, you know, since we do have 2 folks, we could, I mean, depending on how well this works, we could stick Mari and Reina in separate rooms and try even that function too.
Okay. Well, so there's a couple things. So we can try the breakout rooms again and see how that works, if there's someone to translate in each room. Okay. But I also want to try the interpretation part where we actually designate and then have this side channel. So Reina, what I'm going to do is I'm going to designate you as the interpreter. Give me a second to add you.
How do you do that, Crystal?
So when you're the host, you have different controls. And so I have something that looks like a globe and it says interpretation at the bottom of my list. And when I click into it, I can select somebody in the meeting, and it gives me a drop down of everybody that's still here. So I pick you, Reina, and then I can say English, and then I can have it going into whatever language we are choosing. And then I have to push start. And now you should have something pop up on your screen.
Good.
Awesome. So now, so just a couple things to note. Let's see if this works. So Reina so I can't hear her anymore.
Correct.
So she's talking, I don't hear her.
Well, she's muted.
For those, is she
okay,
muted?
not anymore.
I can hear Reina.
No.
Yo sí te puedo escuchar, Reina.
Yes. So she's in the interpretation channel. So everybody else as a participant has the option to select whether they want to stay in the main channel with English or move into the Spanish channel. Everybody see that? Brian, you look very dubious.
Real quick,
I was just checking out the 2 channels. It seems to be working. I was trying to mute you so I could just hear the translator, the mute original audio, that function I was playing with.
Okay.
It's not great. It barely lowers the volume.
So
barely.
Zoom decides to keep both English and other language version to recreate a real environment. Because in the real environment, you always hear a little bit of other language. So there's no way really to mute completely one language. For those of you who are in the Spanish channel, you're going to hear about 20% of the volume of English and 80% of volume is going to be Spanish.
So let's try that, because I think my voice might be different. Mine might be loud no matter what. I don't know why.
Crystal, sorry to interrupt you, but I know I was in the channel with her just a moment ago, and it's really difficult because I was hearing both of you speak at the same time, at the same volume. And so it was really challenging to try to figure. I mean, I can obviously pick the different languages, but it was hard because it was both at the same volume. Everybody
Okay.
else was a lot lower, but I think you, Crystal, and
Right.
Hannah, when both of you spoke, it was pretty loud.
And I
Noticed
think
that
that's
yesterday.
something so the host and the co-host might stay loud. So maybe, I could either, if I know I need to speak a lot, maybe
I think you can
I don't know.
mute, you know
Not
what,
the
maybe I
host.
can try that. Maybe I can mute the original audio, but then that means that I can only hear Raina and I won't be able to hear anything else, I think.
Try that.
Okay, let's try it again. So continue to speak, Crystal.
Okay, so I'm talking, but I understand my volume might be higher. Let's see, Brian, what happens when you talk? How does that sound? Or you are in the Spanish?
Sure, I can test it if people are trying it.
Crystal.
Testing, I don't know. Is it lower for the Spanish channel?
Go ahead, Marty. So what we've learned, Brian, is there's a couple ways it does it. It lowers the audio of all the attendees except for the host and the interpreter. And when we were trying this last week, as Marty was kind of pointing out, the interpreter came in loud and clear, but so did the host. And if they were speaking at the same time, while everybody else is lower, it's just constant noise. Marty, how's it working right now?
Okay.
Maybe she muted me.
It's so hard, but you know, I think Heather, when you were speaking and I was in there, you were muted a little bit, but Crystal still sounded a little bit loud.
Yeah,
So
I couldn't hear Heather at all when I was on the Spanish channel. I muted the
Yeah.
original. I couldn't hear Heather at all.
Okay. What if I pass the host privilege to somebody who's not likely to talk? And then what about that? So Nicole.
What if you give the host privilege to me because I spoke last because of my co-facility?
But they said you were still allowed as the co-host, Hannah.
But I was.
So I'm gonna
am I
give it-
co-host?
I'm going to make Nicole the host.
I can see that I'm the host now.
Yeah. So am I lower now when I talk, or is it still super loud?
Marty, are you in the Spanish channel?
Mari? Okay, Mari, so I'm no longer the host. Can you hear me at a lower rate now? Or am I still super loud?
You're still loud.
Oh. Okay.
How loud am I, Marty?
You were really low, Heather, and Crystal was still pretty loud. But I could still hear Heather. It was just at a lower volume.
That is fascinating. I wonder.
We have to Google that, how to lower the volume. Because the Zoom promises us 80% of volume for translation services and 20% of volume for English. But what we're hearing from you, it's not the case.
Is Naimeen, I was going to say, is Naimeen, can you hear the difference? Or is she in the Spanish or the English?
She put up on the chat that she can hear Rena primarily, and Jessica said the same thing.
Okay.
Naimeen saying we can hear a little bit of the English language.
Yeah.
We can hear Brian. We hear the same volume. Yes, but it's hard to follow. I'm trying to understand what Rena is saying, but I can hear Crystal equally loud.
Yeah, so it becomes you, Crystal.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I think that the only person that I hear in a less volume is Mari. All the others, when Ryan spoke, when Crystal or Hannah, I hear all of them at the same volume as Reina, except for Mari. I don't know why.
You have the unmute original audio clicked also?
Oh, good point.
Oh, that's a good point. Thank you, Jessica.
I had that earlier, but it still was the issue for me. So I don't know. Let's try it. We can try it again.
Okay. All right.
Naimeen, do you know how to do that?
how to mute the original audio?
Yeah.
It should have. Oh, I don't see it actually. I won't even talk. I
But
don't see it.
host and co-host don't see this function on the screen.
Yeah.
Crystal, can you speak?
I can. I mean, I can talk, but I don't.
Yeah, it's in the same area where you
I
choose
see
English
it.
or Spanish.
It's when
Okay.
you click the little thing where the languages appear,
Yeah.
at the bottom it says unmute original audio.
Yeah.
So that means you're muted. Yeah, good point.
Can you try speaking now?
So, is this thing?
I
Okay.
hear you.
It's still loud.
It's so loud.
Hey, I'm not a loud person.
I
Okay,
wonder if we just email Zoom and tell them to fix this problem. By May 15th.
Yeah.
Hannah, are you in Spanish right now?
No, I'm in English.
Oh, okay. I was just in Spanish and I could hear Hannah equally loud as Reina.
Because I'm a co-host, I cannot switch channels. I'm just in the primary channel, which is for this meeting.
So
You know
may
what? I
I
may
ask
have screwed
the
up my
Spanish
test. I may have been on
speakers
the
who
Spanish
were
feed when you
listening to the
tested me, so maybe
interpretation
that's why it
through
didn't mute
the
me
phone call?
because I had the
So,
Spanish selected.
Lilia and
So now I'm on
Estela,
English. I don't know if the Spanish
entonces,
speakers can hear me.
sobre todo usted, Lilia, que tenía a la interpretación de Reina por el teléfono nada más.
Sí los estoy escuchando a todos. Yo solamente pongo la interpretación la pongo acá en mi audífono y la computadora la tengo apagada porque nada más estoy escuchando la interpretación, pero en este caso cuando necesito hablar le quito el mute.
Pero Lilia lo está haciendo en el teléfono, en la línea telefónica,
sí,
¿verdad?
Se escuchan las dos.
Yeah, so she's still using the teleconference option to be able to hear the interpreting, but then she's still viewing the Zoom video. So I think she can't, she's not experiencing what Naimeen and I are experiencing because
I think she is.
She
That's
is?
what I understand. Lilia, ¿verdad que usted escucha a Reina y está en mute?
Pero no, yo como te dije, tengo mi computador lo tengo en silenciador para no escuchar allá y no escuchar la conversación de ustedes en la pantalla. Yo solamente te estoy escuchando a ti, Reina. Cuando voy a hablar solamente quito el mute de mi computador para que tú me escuches y quito el mute de mi teléfono también al mismo tiempo para poder estar interpretando. Es lo que hago.
Lilia, lo que ahorita estamos tratando de hacer es ver si funciona esto solamente con el Zoom, sin que esté con su teléfono. Podría poner ahorita, nada más tratar de escuchar en su teléfono y ver si trata de escuchar la interpretación de Reina, pero puede también escuchar las voces de Cristel o de otras personas que estén hablando en inglés. Lilia.
Ya lo puse, la tengo en español.
Okay, y escucha, can you hear me speaking right now in English? As well as right now or not?
Sí, ¿te escucho?
Era lo que queríamos, o sea, obviamente, supuestamente como debe funcionar Zoom, es de que usted escuche más a Reina y bien poquito, bien quedito a los que hablan inglés, pero no está pasando, se está oyendo al mismo volumen, ¿verdad?
Ya.
Hey, I just went to the Spanish channel and muted the original, and Naimeen, I think you're talking on the English channel. Yeah, you were muted. So that seemed to work. Whatever you did, you were left. Right. And I heard Reina. I could hear you in the background very faintly.
Okay, that's good.
How did you do that?
I think
so I selected Spanish as the English.
Yeah.
And then I selected mute original audio.
I think too, as long as everyone's in one or the other, because there's an option to just not be in one. And maybe if you're in one or the other, that helps mute you in the other channel.
Yeah, I can't hear, I see Jessica's talking, but I can't hear her.
So you can't ever be not in an interpretation. You either should be in Spanish or English.
Or you come in for both. Okay, let's all do that.
No? Okay, someone is.
Naomi.
Porque ahorita yo no escucho nada en
So
inglés.
everyone is
Nomás
in
escucho
either
a
Spanish
Reina.
or English.
Y nomás estoy con el
Anyone
puro
in
Zoom.
Spanish right now shouldn't hear me at all.
¿Usted es Estela?
Sí.
Raise your hand if you can hear me. Are you guys in English right now?
Yeah. Well, so Hannah and I have to stay in English.
Okay. So if you can
En
hear,
español.
I'm assuming maybe
Y yo también en
Naomi,
español.
are you in the Spanish channel?
En español.
Pero yo no
Well,
escucho nada en inglés. Todo lo que escucho es en español.
Oh, I won't
Sí,
hear
nomás
her
la escucho a usted.
response. Naomi, thumbs up if you can't hear
No
me.
escucho a Jessica. Entonces quiere decir que
Naomi cannot hear Jessica.
Right.
I couldn't hear. Can
guessing
someone
Reina,
speak in
Reina, hay
English?
un punto
Cool.
que estoy
The
mirando.
only
Preguntamos
issue with
a
this
español o inglés,
that
pero en la
we
parte de abajo
recognized
dice
last
audio
time
mute.
is
Si
that
nosotros
we
ponemos el
can't
audio mute,
get the translation
no vamos a
back
escuchar ahorita a los que están hablando en
from
inglés.
anyone in the
Solamente
Spanish channel
tenemos que poner el
speaking.
audio mute para no escuchar
So
solamente
there
a
might
ti y no a
have
las
to
demás
be
personas
a
que están en
person who
inglés.
is in that weird limbo where they hear everything. If there's going to be a case where a Spanish speaker needs to come, so that would be like maybe Maricela, because it can't be, we want the interpreter to stay, but if Mari can be like in both, where it's annoying, but she can at least hear any response that like Naya or Estela wants to say, that's the only way we'll hear it in the English channel.
Okay.
Jessica, you were talking at the same time as Lilia. Did you hear Lilia or no? Because you guys were talking at the same time and I could hear you both.
I could too, but I
can
moved
hear
from
you,
channel
Hannah,
to
right
channel.
now. And very loud. In addition
Estábamos
to
hablando
Reina.
al mismo tiempo, pero ella hablaba inglés y español y nosotros estábamos escuchando el grupo.
Wait, so were you guys all were you in the English channel at the same time and you can hear them both?
I can't hear Jessica. You're really loud. You're really low.
What channel are you in, Monty?
I'm in Spanish. And
Crystal, could you hear both Lilia and Jessica at the same time?
Oh,
yeah.
But you guys are all the co-hosts, so you guys maybe always hear everything?
I think we're different, Hannah, so
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about what I hear. I mostly want this to work for you guys, because I think I'll hear
I think you,
Estela?
yeah. And I think that was one of the things that we were talking
our
about,
only
because
issue
when we
now is
tested
I
it, this was
can't-
the
if
issue.
Estela has anything
And
to
we
say,
said
I
that maybe
can't
you're
hear
going to
it
have to
in-
do
we
that.
can't hear it in English
the
unless
chat
someone like Maricela
in order to be able to
switches
do that.
to
But
the
then, like,
English
you're right.
channel to
How are
say
you going to be
something.
able to translate that at the same time or write it out? Yeah. It sounds like you'll need a backup. Somebody to do the actual typing into the chat and then you doing the verbal interpreting.
I think there's also
Okay,
going to
parece que
be
Estela tiene
probably.
pregunta. Estela, ¿me
Who's
puedes
talking
escuchar?
right now? I cannot hear anything.
Sí, nada más quería preguntarles,
I
¿me
just hear
tengo
you,
que
Naya.
conectar por teléfono también o nada más por el puro Zoom? Porque yo por el puro Zoom sí escucho a Reina.
Ok, y es lo que estamos tratando de intentar.
Ya colgué.
Ok, es perfecto. Es lo que queremos ver si va a funcionar este sistema, porque es lo que queremos. Queremos que todos estén
So for English
juntos y
people,
no
I'm going to
tengamos
switch to Spanish really quickly and tell
una
Mari
línea
that he
telefónica para
should
recibir la
switch
información por ese
anytime she
modo.
wants to say
Entonces,
something in
ahorita es lo que
English
estamos tratando
to the
de
English
intentar
channel.
aquí con todos para
See if that
ver
works.
cómo se va a poder hacer. Entonces, Reina, es lo que estamos tratando de ver cómo es que vamos a hacer las preguntas o cómo vamos a dejarles saber a los que hablan inglés de que tenemos o usted tiene una pregunta.
Yo tengo una sugerencia para eso, para cómo, por ejemplo, si yo hago una pregunta en español y obviamente Reina tal vez puede hacerlo de la mano levantada o para que entonces la moderadora pueda, y obviamente lo van a tener que ayudar para que pueda ver que esa mano significa que Reina va a necesitar traducir una pregunta para todos en inglés o la otra intérprete que esté.
So I just switched over to the Spanish channel just really quickly for Mari and Naya. I think the best way, we should keep Renia in this channel. And then if there is a question from someone in Spanish, then one of you can just quickly undo Spanish, click on English, and then relay it to us. But I don't think it should be Renia, so she can stay in the chat.
Yeah, and we just, Jessica, just so you know, we did talk a little bit about that right now, and Reina did mention that she does have a team that will be able to do this if need be. She has another person that can help.
Marty, did they get the volume issue worked out? Like,
yeah, we can only hear, if you're in the English now, we can only, I mean, the Spanish now, we can only hear Reina. Estela came on, Nayamin was on, and so was Lilia.
And then they muted the original audio button and that worked.
Yes, it worked.
Okay. This might work.
So I think
are we
we're
comfortable enough
good.
to
So
not
it sounds like as long as
next time?
you
I
have
think
to
we
be
can.
in a language channel,
Yeah,
and you have to mute original audio.
Do you see why we were nervous?
Co-hosts might be a different story, but I don't know. And then we will have a second person relay the questions over into the English channel anytime there is a question, and they themselves will have to put themselves in each channel when they want to relay in different languages. But one interpreter will always stay in the interpretation channel, so we'll have 2 people.
Mari, I could hear you right now. Are you in the English or the Spanish channel?
Are you asking Mari?
Estoy en español.
Hear you.
Okay, because you were talking and I could.
¿Me escuchan también?
Sí.
Yo sí te escucho, Lilia.
Ok, entonces estoy en el de español también.
Sometimes too, if you're flipping back and forth, I find it takes like a second to mute what needs to be muted.
Yes.
But wait a minute. I mean, I think we're getting there, but I have a question. I'm confused because Lilia is in the Spanish channel, and right now we all hear her saying.
¿A mí me escuchan?
Sí, Estela, te escucho.
Are you in Spanish only right now, Naya?
No, I'm in English.
And you're fully muted?
No. No, what I was muted, but now I took out the mute. I cannot hear Reina. I cannot hear Reina.
So if you need to click English and mute original audio. That's the only way you'll only hear English. So now if you have Estela or Lilia talk.
Okay. Mari, can you ask them to say something to see if I can hear?
Oh, you want us to talk?
The Spanish ones.
Oh.
Reina puede,
Lilia
puede decir algo?
¿Escuchan?
Okay, I cannot hear her now. Good.
Perfect.
Oh,
so we have like a list
escucho,
of, you always need to be in a language, and you always have to mute original audio.
Right.
You will always have 2 translators,
¿Me
one
oye?
always in the Spanish and one
Sí, yo te oigo,
relaying
Estela.
Spanish to our English channel.
So like right now I'm
right?
in English, but I hear Mari. Mari, did you move back to English? Or I'm a weird one, never mind.
Yeah, nope,
Ay, qué
sorry,
bueno,
you
así ya
don't
nos
count,
podemos ir
and
más
Hannah
pronto.
doesn't count, and Crystal doesn't count.
Jessica,
Estoy
do
en
you think
español.
there'd be a way to put together a quick, I don't know, if maybe
Perfecto.
Zoom has
Aquí
a link
estamos
or a quick
entonces.
document with screenshots of like the translation
Definitely,
button
yes.
functions? Because I just realized what I was doing. I was thinking original audio was based on what I was in, but it's based on what the person speaking is in. And that's what was throwing me off. So I think maybe like a quick like 1-pager of how to use those tools.
I think the little summary right now is definitely going to be a good little 1-pager for sure.
I do know that it's encouraging that Reina is not muted and I cannot hear her. So that's working.
Yes, yeah. But we're like 80% there. I think we just need
far further than we were a week ago.
Oh yeah, and again, I think it's. I appreciate everyone practicing because the co-hosts clearly are different. So having a lot of non-co-hosts.
Yes, because all the times we practiced, we were using hosts. No wonder it wasn't working.
Yeah. I'm totally different. I don't see any of this.
Yeah,
so.
it's different.
Cool. We'll put together some screenshots. I think that's a great idea, Brian.
Yeah.
And it'll maybe go out with a list of some of the other stuff we talked about today about your full name and just reminders.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Okay. Yay. So, okay. Eric, I saw that you joined.
Yes.
Better late than never. Are you still, where do I see you?
Yep, I'm still here.
Hi. Welcome.
Hey, I just saw the email that went through for the agenda, so I was able to hop on. But I had a question. I've been in some Zoom meetings where.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye, everyone.
I think Eric, if you're on your computer, can you switch into English or Spanish? Because I couldn't hear you if you're not in a channel. Do you know how to do that on the bottom under interpretation?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
a little world.
There it is. How's that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yay.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
So some of the Zoom meetings that I've been in, when you take a voting action item, you can use the raise hand or vote like yes or no. Yes, raise hand to speak, but yes or no to vote for action items. Are you guys also doing that, or is it a voice vote for roll call?
We are, I think for roll call, just because of the size of the group, we probably won't take the time to do that. We're going to do that just on our end, so we'll know who's here and who's not here. For all voting, like official voting purposes, we will use the yes, no button. And then we were going to use the raised hand, the blue raised hand, to indicate to the speaker that you have a question or a comment that you'd like to make at that time, and use the chat box as a way to indicate like any thoughts or suggestions or things you just wanted to put out there that aren't necessarily time pertinent, but you wanted to make sure they're captured.
Okay.
So we can send all this out. We went over kind of a bunch of different, just like operating etiquette Zoom rules. But because we didn't have the committee on tonight, Jessica, you're totally right. We should send out kind of a more detailed follow-up with like some suggested operating procedures.
How do the
But
people
right,
on the
Eric.
phone say yes or no? I forgot.
There was like a *9 or something like that. Or there's different stars. *9, I guess, is raise your hand.
*7.
*7, there you go.
Yeah,
*7.
*9 was to raise your hand. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it *7 to vote?
I need a cheat sheet of
We'll
that.
get it all we'll put it all on whatever we send out.
Okay. Yeah.
And also we need to figure out if there's a way to do reactions on the phone.
Well, maybe. I mean, if there is,
Yeah.
but I feel like
baby steps.
You know.
Yeah, we made huge progress. I'm very happy.
Yeah,
Same.
this is
And I
great.
think we can stop sharing now, huh? On Facebook.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. And Jude, did I stop the recording?
Yeah.
Probably.
That was
Stop
interesting.
Okay, adios, Lilia. Lilia said she's gonna sign off.